All right, man. Well, Shawn, welcome to the channel. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's 8:32 in the morning here.
It's 4:32 in the early evening here in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
You're in Koenji?
yeah, Koenji, Tokyo. It's about 2 stations from Shinjuku,
Hmm.
central Tokyo, a little bit west central Tokyo. But yeah, I've been over in this area of town for almost 12 years now. I live right up the road from my office, have a house up there, and then I was lucky enough to find an office space right in front of Koenji Station.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and you're only like seem to be growing from here. So like I usually I have cartoonists or writers or just artists on this channel. This is the first time I'm having somebody who does what you do on here. Why don't you explain just a little bit what you do for anybody who hasn't ever seen you before or met you?
Well, my name's Shawn. I run Japan Book Hunter. Um, I sell weird and wild and rare manga, art books, anything manga anime adjacent, and it's also some art, like some photo books and stuff like that. But basically, I go out, dig through shops for rare books, and sell them on the website and sell them on Instagram, and just Japan Book Hunter everywhere. Have the YouTube too, and really when I started out, I just wanted to showcase my collection. So I
Yeah.
was doing lots of like weekly YouTube videos trying to introduce people to weird and rare and maybe more esoteric manga that they wouldn't normally know about in the West because it hasn't been translated, or it's from the 70s, 80s, stuff like that. And then I got some requests. Johnny Ryan, damn you, man. I got some requests to find stuff for people, and then each month I was starting to like build boxes for friends and friends of friends. And then I thought, well, I might as well make a website and try to turn it into something. And here we are today.
Yeah, it's just like snowballed from there. And it's only been like a couple years that you've been doing this, and it's just you're just going boom, 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 up, up, up.
It's been exactly 2 years. It was May 2 years ago that I started my website, beginning of May.
That
So
is wild.
over 2 years. And in that time, I went from my home office, 10 months in a little apartment around the corner of my house. I outgrew that. And then here in the shop that I have here now, I can do this really quick.
Wow.
Office. These are all books for sale. And the books are never ending, my friend.
And you get a lot of cartoonists from, Western countries and United States, that will like travel to Japan and just come seek you out to just come and like peruse your wares too, don't you?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough that I've hooked up with like a lot of creators, a lot of artists, people that are really into what I'm into, which is
Yeah.
weird, esoteric art and manga, which is cool. And one benefit of that is like a lot of real cool artists look for the kind of stuff that I'm selling. So I've got to like either via online chat with them and sell them books. And I don't want to name drop and stuff because that sounds weird, but lots of big comic book artists. And then
Sure.
sometimes we'll get crews of people coming in. I've been in Japan 21 years now, and I'm so knee deep in manga that sometimes I don't know how rad these people are until I
Yeah.
meet them in person.
Yeah.
So like Daniel Warren Johnson was here for probably 30 minutes before I knew who Daniel Warren Johnson was.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
we hung out for like 4 hours. He did some drawings. He was like digging through my shelves, finding inspiration for his next project. And then we like got to know each other and stuff. But it's just like, I'm so out of the American comic book scene. But doing this business has been rad because I've learned between this business and cartoonist kayfabe, I've learned a lot about American comics that I lost in that 20-year gap of being here.
Yeah, that'll do it. Just filling up on those episodes that they did will catch you up real quick.
Yeah.
I think talking about weird and esoteric, that is basically the brand of art and stories that I write and draw. I think that I found you on Instagram probably right when you opened your shop or opened your Instagram account, and I just saw what you were putting out. These are all books. This is and it's hard to tell on the screen here. Let me put it up on the let me feature it here. It's hard to tell, but these are two big stacks of books that I've gotten from you. My wife always says like, you're getting these books, you can't, you know, it's in Japanese, you can't even read them. Why are you getting them? Because if the cartoonist, if the mangaka is doing their job right, I can tell exactly what's going on, and I can tell exactly what's going on in all of these. Like these, you know, the storytelling is second to none in all of this stuff. But when I think that you had put out maybe an Instagram post about, maybe it was this Battle Slave Lusa book. And I reached out to you and was like, hi, I'm Chris Anderson. Right now I'm working on some stories for Heavy Metal Magazine. You know, I love weird stuff, you know, just bizarre, cool artwork stuff. And you were like, I've got the stuff for you.
Yeah,
and so
Kasumi, yeah.
Yeah. And you steered me to this pile here. So this is like the first one. First pile of stuff that I got from you. So the first two books are these books called Lisa, and I'm only starting them in this order because this one's the smallest one, and then we go to the larger format. But like, tell us a little bit about this book.
Well, Kakizaki Kazumi, he mostly published in S&M and adult magazines. That was because he does kind of sexy fantasy, lots of female-centric characters, and lots of violence and sex and stuff like that. So he couldn't really be publishing in Jump or Morning or, you know, Sunday or these like mainstream magazines. And Lisa, Battle Slave Lusa, similar worlds. They're kind of like fantasy worlds, like Colosseum battles. And I want to say that I know Lusa ran an S&M Sniper in the 80s, and I believe Lisa ran in a different adult magazine. And yeah, lots of women fighting to the death is what happens in both series.
Yeah, they're very similar, even in their titles.
yeah, right. I think Lusa came first. It was very popular, and then after that series closed out, then Lisa followed up.
Yeah, the action that takes place in here is just bonkers, off the wall stuff. You know, like you said, you know, it's like there's sexy material in it. You know, it's these, you know, naked warrior women fighting. Obviously, you know, the boys are gonna
like this, you know, splash page like this with just so much ink on the paper.
Well, that's what I'm getting to. Like the craftsmanship in this is just like insane. This looks like, you know, the way that this was all these lines here. This isn't like screen tones or anything. It starts thick and it fades down, and it's just like the classic illustrators of like the early, you know, 20th century, like in the heyday of illustration, where people would, you know, people like Franklin Booth comes to mind, when these guys would look at things that were etchings, and that Franklin Booth especially thought that, you know, some of the etchings that he saw was drawn with ink, and so he would do it with like a pen nib, and that's not how these images that he saw were done. And so I think it's like kind of comes from that school of illustration, that it takes like insane amount of patience. You know, the cross hatching is just like perfect. The composition's beautiful. Like this thing is just nuts.
Yeah, and you have to think, so for I was gonna say for the monthlies, it was I'd say 24 pages, something around that, 20 to 25 pages that Kakizaki had to draw per month for the magazine, you know. But at the same time, they're also doing side projects too, you know, and working on others. So it's not just, whereas if you look at like on your left side, we'll talk about him later, but Maeda Toshio, he was doing weeklies. He was putting out 20, 25 pages per week.
Yeah. That's just insane. I don't know how you do that. And then, yeah, we'll look at it. You can see that the quality is a little bit like hastier, but not much, you know?
Yeah.
Again, so this is the same creator that did Lusa, also did Lisa. Lisa also did Lusa, I should say. But look how hard this goes.
Yeah, right.
Look at that. Like sliced half the face off.
Yeah, that's the
Jesus.
culminating scene. And in, you know, in this world, you know, you're either a gladiator, victorious gladiator, or you're a slave, you know. There's
Yep.
only two roads for the women in this world, right?
Wild, wild stuff. And let's see here. Like I think this was, yeah, look at this. Look at
Yeah.
this Coliseum. You can't tell me that somebody like Daniel Warren Johnson didn't see something like this when he was doing, do a power bomb and, say, how the hell am I going to draw a Coliseum full of people, day in and day out? Like you can't.
Yeah, and it's not just one 2-page spread either. It's like throughout the book, there's
Yeah.
like you can see all these Colosseum shots drawn over and over and over. Like that right there in the lower left-hand corner.
Yes.
With all
Yep.
of the faces and the
Yeah, that's what you do. You fill it with the faces, and then as it sort of goes into the distance, you less detail until it's just like a screen tone here, and then he just like scratches in some white space to fill in these people. But look at this screen tone and how it looks like that's the crowd too. And as the eyes are the motion is panning past it, like blurs, just like it would be in like a movie or something. It's crazy. It's super ingenious, like a way of using screen tones. Like he does it. Oh, I just noticed it over here too, like this. Another just way of showing a crowd. Just like you can learn so much from this stuff. That we in the West, screen tones got stopped being used in like the 80s pretty much, until they're back now because of people like Daniel Johnson and James Herron and people like that.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one reason why I have customers that can't read Japanese but still buy these, is because they're insanely great reference guides. They're exciting. The artwork is amazing. And like you said before, if the mangaka or comic book artist, cartoonist is good enough, then the visuals will tell the story.
Yeah.
The words are adding an extra layer to it,
Exactly. We can reach across the ocean on all sides and throughout the world of people who are telling visual story, visually doing storytelling, and learn something and borrow it, and don't steal it, but evolve it and make it into something your own. There's always things that you can learn from this stuff. This one was super interesting too. So when I told you I was working on heavy metal, this is the one that you initially sent to me. And this is literally, so it's called Tarlna.
Yeah. Taruna in Japanese.
Yeah. And in America, in heavy metal, it was called Tarna, drawn by someone totally different, but it's still the same, like this warrior woman on a pterodactyl kind of book.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing.
Yeah, when you mentioned heavy metal, I was like, that, fantasy, dinosaurs, swords, like sexy, like all those elements combined. Taruna. There you go.
Yeah.
And they, of course, she has to battle assassins. She has to, fly her pterodactyl. Yeah.
I love this use of screen tone just to show the shadow of the pillars to give. Oh gosh, I need to get myself an assistant to throw screen tones on stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, another beautiful book. And all of these are from the same mangaka.
Yeah. Kakizaki Kazumi. So he also happened to do not just those kind of fantasy stuff. He also did the promotional manga in the 90s for Waterworld.
That's right.
So with Kevin Costner, which opens with Kevon Costner drinking his own pee, and which is always fun to see. And it just
always
straight through. And I used to be able to find those around, but God, I haven't been able to find one for a long time now. But if you ever run across anyone out there, or if I do, I'll definitely post it because it's amazing. But so
solid gold.
obviously did other stuff too, but his main bread and butter was that fantasy, female-centric fantasy action.
Amazing. So that was one that you sort of, you know, I told you kind of what I was looking for, and then you were like, I'm gonna go out and find these things for you, and then you did, and that's like something that it's invaluable. You can't, you know, there's other places that you can get, you know, manga from Japan, but you just have to go on something. There's no pictures of what the interiors look like. There's nobody pointing you in any directions. With your business, you know, you're a person that people can talk to, and you can kind of, you know, steer people in a direction and go out and find stuff. And then you have your YouTube channel and your Instagram too, where you're showcasing like stuff that people may not have seen before. And it's just like a brilliant thing for, you know, people to be able to discover new things the way that you present it. So you kind of curated this for me. This one was just stuff that you had up on your shop, and I just flipped through and went, this looks weird, I'm gonna grab it.
Actually, Maeda Toshio, the mangaka for Haba Iku, or Haba Goes Forth, he was just here 2 days ago in the office with me, and talking about, we had a mutual friend in town, and he was signing some stuff for me, brought over some doujinshi that for me to sell for him, and then brought me a bunch of I have just stacks of original artwork right here.
Oh, we're gonna have to take a look at some of that in a bit.
Yeah, so a lot of filthy stuff in here, but I just have stacks of original art from him right now because he's trying to move stuff and, you know, move on and do other projects right now. So
okay. Yeah, this one is bonkers. I can't show like a whole ton of it.
Yeah,
I mean, I could, but I want to like kind of keep my channel.
Keep your channel alive. Yeah,
Yeah.
Haba is probably his third most famous. This series is probably his third most famous series. Of course, number one is Urotsuki Doji, Legend of the Overfiend, which was made into an OVA in the 90s. So most people who know him for the tentacle hentai aspects of his manga and anime. Second most popular would be La Blue Girl, which also was animated. And then Haba Goes Forth, this one.
So this is basically about this guy sort of battling a penis monster.
Yep.
I guess. And this is the safest one that I can probably show. Page I can probably show from it.
Oh, and the monster, yeah, the monster goes after girls, goes after guys, it goes after everyone.
Oh yeah, it does not discriminate. And it's, yeah, I really can't flip through it. But the art is beautiful in here too. And again, like super interesting use of screen tones to show like tones. I think I bookmarked another one on this second volumes. It's a 2-volume thing, right?
Yeah, 2 volumes is the full set. And I do regularly stock those up on japanbookhunter.com. Not very expensive for the set. I'd say it's somewhere around $30 or something like that. It's a little bit more accessible because it was a popular series, where so it got reprints, whereas like some of Toshio Maeda's stuff never got reprints because it was just like a one and done tankobon that got put out. So some of the stuff is a little bit harder to find, you know?
Yeah. So how many pages a week did you say that he was kicking out for this?
He was kicking out 20 pages a week,
okay,
which is insane. I mean, like the homie Ed would, I remember when he's like, I went from 1 to 2 pages this week. It's like,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's really slow even for American comics. Like usually it's about 1 page a day is what you should be, you know, kicking at. And that's,
yeah. And I mean, and that's 20 pages a week of completely insane manga, but also he had assistants. So
that's the thing, right? So like you got a page like this, which is I bookmarked to point out because it's got really, I don't know if this was a screen tone that he found or if it was like burlap that was like photocopied, but whatever it was, it's some sort of interesting texture here. And I'm not sure what this. Let me make sure I can show. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I guess I'm not sure what exactly is happening here.
Yeah, but like that page right there with the girl, you can, unlike the burlap page, you can tell it's kind of screen tone, scratched away.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then look at this. Look at this page here with this sort of swirling effect. Now, just to do those swirls would take you hours and hours and hours on end to draw that, you know? And like 20 some pages a day. I'm assuming that he probably worked 7 days a week.
Oh yeah, back then those guys are, even now, I mean, one of my friends, Juan, who's a mangaka for Morning Magazine, he gets Sundays off, one day a week off, but then on Sundays he's also doing redraws, promotional materials, ads, you know, like, so he doesn't have Sundays off. You know, maybe
it's
one day a month you can like day off, you know?
Yeah, it's really not too different from the lifestyle of a cartoonist in the States either, except for I think that we just don't go at as breakneck of a speed, because I think it really does become the line between your personal life and your work life just starts to blur. I mean, I don't really have days off personally. And when I do get them off, my wife is like, you have to do nothing today. You have to. I'm like, I don't want to do nothing today.
It's hard.
Like, I want to do this.
You know, same thing with this business. Like, I'll put the kids to bed at 9 and I'll come back to the office until 11 because I want it to be clean for the next morning so I can be more efficient. Or like, you know, on the weekends, like I'll be like, just got to go in the morning and just post a few pictures of books, you know?
Yeah.
On the weekend, I'll go out manga hunting, you know, go out book hunting, go to a book fair, go to, you know, a shop that's holding something for me. And so it really never ends. There aren't days off.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It just sort of kind of intertwines. And to a certain degree, I think that can be healthy, you know? I don't know.
Well, especially if it's something you love to do.
Yeah.
Or if it's something that you don't. I mean, I was a salaryman here in Japan for years. You know, like commuting in the morning, wearing a suit, working in an office, commuting home on the rush, going to drinking parties with colleagues every other week, you know, like doing things I didn't want to do, but I had to do, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, every time I get a little bit, let's say, maybe frustrated or a little bit tired, I just think at least I don't have to put on a suit and get on that morning rush hour train, you know?
Yeah, that's the other thing is, I was a teacher for 18 years, like between like preschool and elementary school, and it started to turn into like just every day just started to be a repeat, and then it got to the point where it was like I felt like I was waking up and I had a whole new round of kids and I got to learn their names, and then I got a new round of kids, and it's like the same thing every day. And you know, teachers make no money. And the day that, you know, I decided to quit and do this full time was the best day of my life because it was the right choice. And I've been luckily successful with it. So,
yeah, congrats to that, because it's a hard thing to do. It's a scary thing to do. When I did it, it wasn't until March of this year that I quit my other job.
Yeah.
But luckily I was working remotely. COVID did a lot for us, like as far as like changing the work culture here in Japan. And luckily for those 2 years when I was first starting out Japan Book Hunter, I was able to work from home. So I was basically just working 2 jobs at the same time. Just constantly working 2 jobs. But that in March 1st, when I took a step away, it was scary, but it was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life.
Amazing. Well, congratulations, man, on doing this full time now.
Sen no Knife. Yeah, he's a wild. I met him actually last August, and at an event in Nakano that Mandarake holds called Shiryosei, paper materials exhibition. It's just all paper goods, you know. So it's like, and they have people signing, they have used books for sale, they have guys selling like old photographs or like old Polaroids, just anything that's paper based. And it's a little event that they hold every year.
Wild. Anything paper based. That's interesting.
Yeah. And then the following day they do a toy one. That's all designer toys, Sotheby and stuff like that, which I've never been to because I'm not a toy guy. But the paper one, I go every time. And they happen to have Sen no Knife was there, Kojima Miyako, Kanafuro Taro, and Noroi Michiru, like all horror manga artists.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild. This is newer, right?
Yeah, well, Sendo, he started publishing, I want to say his first stuff was like late 70s, early 80s. And guy is prolific. I mean, I bought a collection of horror manga from a guy, and there must have been 50 Sendo Knife manga in there from the 80s to now. And he's
Wow.
still putting out stuff now, but he's so prolific.
Yeah, this is one I just, you know, I saw the cover on your website, and I saw like there was like a couple pages posted up there, and I was like, I just got to see what this is. And I'm really glad that I did, you know, because having worked on Creep Show and you know, my own horror books and stuff, you know, I'm always fascinated with how to tell a good horror story in comics, because you can't do a jump scare in it. It has to be creepy and it has to be shocking in another way. You know, you have the page flip, but no one's going to be like, oh, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
when they turn a page, but you can be shocked by something. And so, yeah, this is a story of like somebody that's like building a doll out of body parts, I guess. Like, I think that's what's happening in this story. But, and then like the, you know, the body parts are obviously wrapped up here. It's no, you know, no, they're not trying to hide the fact that that's what's in this bag.
Yeah, but they're animated still.
Yeah, they come into life and try to choke this guy. And the style of this is just so cool. Like the facial expressions, the way that they draw eyes is really neat.
Yeah, and Senno Knife has a unique style for Japanese horror manga that you don't see with other mangaka, especially from his era. You'd see more either really cute / gory,
Yeah.
or you would see, you know, the body horror Hideshi Hino type stuff with the bubbly eyes, you know, very round faces, but gory. But
Right.
he has a very unique style where the bodies are more slimmed down. They're more closer to that like that 1:7 ratio head type thing.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, a little bit different style.
Yeah, and it's got the big cute eyes for expression and stuff, but then he takes the nose and the mouth and squishes them together and then pulls the eyes way far apart, and it just makes it a little bit more unsettling, I think.
Mm.
You know? It's that dichotomy of cute and horrific, and that balance done just well. It's like sweet and salty. But man, like the stark black, the way that he draws the hair, everything on here, it's just wild and beautiful. You know, I could flip through this all day, but anyway. And then this one.
Yeah, Maraya is one of the best.
It feels European with the art inside, but also clearly not. It feels like Miyazaki epic, also like at the same time. I think you were telling me we tried to do another video or recording another time, and the system that I was using was so bad, like our video was unusable, and I'm so sorry for like wasting your time with that.
No,
but
it happens,
you know, I at least did get you know, some facts out of it that are useful for this time around. So yeah, like I guess this issue in particular is like sought after because of the cover, right?
Yeah, I think it's the cover, and when you get into the later issues of anything, so something like the Japanese X-Men manga,
Yeah,
like this.
yeah,
By the time you get to 13, like the print runs tend to be lower. That's why 13 is the hardest one to find.
right, because people start to fall off.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same thing with Maraya. By the time they got to 4, I feel like, because I see 1 and 2 around a lot, 3 a little bit less, and 4 is super rare.
And does that make them more valuable, or they hike the price up at the
Exactly. So
That's
if you do find them, they tend to be more expensive. If you find them in a set and the set includes volume 4, then it's going to be a lot more expensive. Same thing with Gon. Of course, Gon by Tanaka Masashi. Gon was the little cute dinosaur in Street Fighter 3.
Oh yeah, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. So like that series, most people have 1 through 4, because they're really common. But then by the time you get to 5, 6, 7, the print runs start going down, and 7 is extremely hard to find. So like I've only owned 7 once or twice, because I think when they get towards the end of their lifespan, they just don't print a lot of them.
It's kind of the opposite of what we do, how things go in the States, because it's usually like a #1 that's going to be more expensive, or the introduction of a character that's going to be more expensive, you know, even though, you know, print runs do fall off like that.
Well,
look at how beautiful this is.
Yeah, so it's rare to get all color too in Japan.
Yeah.
If you look at all the other manga you have there, nothing is full color. You know, it is really rare to get full color stuff like that. But Yasuhiko, Yoshikazu, this artist, of course. Yeah, he did 4 volumes, all color. It's beautiful. I think he colored it himself, because I have an illustration album of his right here.
Wow.
Which also is all, I mean, if you go through like everything, it's just like all full color, right?
Amazing. Yeah. I told you last time, I like to make things difficult for myself, and I just know that a watercolored book by me, a hand watercolored book by me, is in my future. So that's why, like, I saw this and I was like, I need to get this. I need to study how it works. It's very simple, but the washes are just like so perfect.
Well, I like, the one thing I like about the color is, you know, when they're inside a dungeness castle, you know, when they're outside in the bright sunlight, it's like the scenes are like, it's quite clear from the way that he colors it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Jeez, look at that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And this story is cool too, because it's you know, swords and machine guns. You know?
Yeah. You get a little bit of and monsters, you know, like dragon type monsters, and sometimes a little bit comical. Like some of her facial expressions will be almost like a gag manga or something, you know?
Sure.
Like there'll be like little funny episodes in there where she's got to fight a fellow warrior, female warrior, and then they become friends. You know, it's all kind of goofy.
Yeah. No, it's just a storytelling device like anything else, you know. Some of those storytelling devices don't always necessarily translate. Like, what's the one where people like have like a booger coming out of their nose and it means something? Like, what does that usually mean?
You have a little bit of blood coming out of your nose, it means you're horny. So like when like a high school kid will see like a girl like bend over or something like that, he'll get a bloody nose.
Like, they had an aneurysm because she's so beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll see it in like Urusei Yatsura or Sailor Moon, or like these cute anime and manga. You even see that kind of thing go on, you know, and everyone knows what it means. There's even like sometimes you'll be somewhere with a friend and just inappropriate but joking around, and one of your friends will go, it means like that girl was amazing or something.
Right. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, you know, it's just symbolism. It's like, you know, the picture of a person on a bathroom stall, so you know where to go or whatever, you know, or like, you know, don't touch this or you'll be electrocuted. A drip from the nose means they're horny.
Yeah, there's something sexy going on, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's wild to think that, you know, so similar yet so different, you know. So cool. Yeah, so I mean, these are amazing. Everything that I've gotten from you, whether or not I just picked it up myself, you curate your work so well, and you have such a wide variety of stuff. You go out every day and you're like picking through stuff and packing this stuff up. This came in like, I don't know, 3 days it was here, and the way that you pack is insane. Like, you could drop it off of, you know, the Empire State Building and there would not be a ding in it. You know?
Yeah, I try my best. I can actually count 2 packages that have been damaged. One, it's a mystery. We are trying to figure out how, because he's like, it was packaged perfectly, but a corner was dinged. I can't understand how it got dinged. And and he's a regular customer, so we
Yeah.
worked something out. And then I had another one other package that was damaged, but never. I mean, because for one, I use DHL Express, which is like you said, fast, safer than like UPS or General Post, you know, like Japan Post or something like that. And then secondly, just protect the corners at all costs, man. Just you gotta learn how to. That's why, like, if I order something from Amazon, it just comes in a paper bag.
Yeah.
Like no bubble wrap or anything. Oh God, I'm like, why? What are you doing? You know,
or just
like
loose in a giant box where it's rattling around in there.
exactly. So like that's why I try not to buy. I honestly I do sometimes buy online for especially for restock, or if I run across something that's super rare that I know I won't find in the shop. But I like to buy directly from mom and pop shops that I know. I can check the condition of the books. I can look inside the books because they know me. Whereas if you've been to Japan before, when you go to like Mandarake or these bookstores, everything's crystal wrapped. Everything's sealed. It's just the Japanese way. So main reason why it's not to protect the book, it's so that people don't just stand around the shop reading books. We call tachiyomi. So it's a popular thing. So to stop people from doing standing reading in shops, they started wrapping books.
Yeah.
So you can't just go into the shop and take a stack of books up to the counter and say, "Can I look inside these?" You know, it's bad manners.
Right. But it's also a drag because then you can't see what the work looks like inside of it.
Exactly. So by going to mom and pop shops, the same shops for the last, 10, 15 years, I'm friends with them and I can look through whatever I want to look through.
There you go.
And so something like Maraya, I didn't know about. Of course, Yasuhiko did Crusher Joe, Gundam, many of these epic, like space operas. And I'll go on there, like, of course I read Japanese, like I'll go think like Crusher Joe, what else did he do? Okay, go on his Wikipedia, see what else he did. Oh, what's this Maraya? I've never seen Maraya. Okay, I found an omnibus issue. I bought the omnibus. And then I was like, wait, there's a 4-volume all color? I got to get that, This is how I dig for stuff. And the next thing you know, like I'm out at the shops, like, do you got Maraya? And trying to like dig up as many as I can. And that's how I curate my shop. And then sometimes I'll be like, oh, wait, who is his assistant? Okay, his assistant. And they have rad manga too. And that's how I find out about new mangas.
Yeah, you're really getting into the weeds with it.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of got to if you want to find like the weird and the unique stuff, because like if you have I don't know the number, 60,000 like individual stories being published per month. If you count all the magazines, you count all the Tonkobon releases, you count all the indie stuff, then you go back to 1979, there's thousands and thousands of manga that were released in that year alone to hunt for, and those were wild years. Those are some of my favorite years for manga. So I just try to find anything like whose assistant was doing stuff, which publishing company, what was like this publishing company or that publishing company doing at that time, and just dig.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love stuff like that, man. Well, I think I want to move on to some stuff that you have at the shop that you can show us. I think I'm going to break this up into 2 episodes.
Okay.
So let's say, where can people find you on the interwebs?
JapanBookHunter.com is where I sell my books and I post stuff to the website. Really rare stuff that I probably won't get again. I just sell it only on Instagram. Also, Japan Book Hunter. Brandon manages the TikTok because I'm too old for that stuff, and he's 23. So, but we do have that, and of course, Japan Book Hunter on YouTube, where I showcase videos of my manga hauls and of rare things I pick up, art books, artist editions, and mangaka profiles. So, and I've been putting stuff, I think I got 120 videos up there or something like that from the past 5 years. So if you want to learn a little bit more about manga, hop on over there.
That's the place. Shawn, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate what you do. I'm going to, place another order soon. And I hope that everybody watching goes in and digs for that weird esoteric stuff. And we'll talk to you later, dude.
Matane.
Join my Patreon to see my work before anyone else, plus score physical sketchbooks, mini comics, and commissions delivered right to your door, and read my new books, Something Seems Off and Three-Headed Pigman, as they are made. Go to my website to order original art, commissions, and my books, Lost Angels, Spectral: A Showcase of Fear, Chaotic Neutral, and more. Gray Matter Drip, The Art of Chris Anderson, is available now from Cosmic Lion Productions. Here are the upcoming conventions I'll be at the time of this recording. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. It helps spread the word. Thanks.